I won't disturb Lord Marsh without a reason.
Mr. Holmes, you have any news about my father?
Tom, not so fast. I wanted to ask you if you remember your father mentioning anything about a special education program.
An education program? No, he only talked about a special job.
What's this box, Tom?
Oh yeah, I just found it, Mr. Holmes. It was ever so well hidden. I've no idea why.
Well done, my boy. It could prove very helpful.
I hope you'll find my father.
This oil can also be used on weapons. Wolfjack. Looks like a military badge.
A ramrod to clean a rifle.
Tom, does your father own a rifle?
A rifle? No. If he had, he would have shown it me.
I'm sure that he wouldn't have shown it you. I need to find this rifle. This scrap of cloth was used to oil a firearm. Tom, does your father have any other property?
No. Well, at least I don't think so.
I have to take Toby. He'll take a sniff of the oil, and we'll find that rifle.
Come on, Toby. It's time for you to earn your keep.
Watson?
I prefer to visit Lord Marsh. I'm worried about the condition of his health.
Search, Toby, search. Old things. Ordinary storage. Tom's photograph. Let's try to get inside. There's no space for this lockpick. News clippings on Lords in the education program. Why are they here? Let's compare this list with the evidence that we found earlier. This is the list of selected participants for October's special education program. According to this poster, John Strobridge is missing. Let's compare them with people from Hearst documents. This man appears in both documents. All the people in Marsh's document are marked and dated in George Hurst's files. A map of Epping Forest. There was something on the stand. This case must have been full of cartridges. There was a rifle here. George Hurst took it with him. Here it is.
Holmes, what are you doing here? What are you planning?
A mission of my own. You must play the role of the conscientious doctor while I sneak inside Marsh's house. That's the only way of helping little Tom.
The window is firmly shut.
There's no space for this lockpick. There's no space for this lockpick. There's no space for this lockpick.
How can I help you?
I came to visit Lord Marsh.
What for?
I would very much like to see Lord Marsh, if you please.
Mr. Holmes? What are you doing here? How can I help you?
I came to visit Lord Marsh.
Mr. Holmes? What are you doing here? How can I help you?
I came to visit Lord Marsh.
Oh, you're so clumsy. Can you please not...
I have to visit Lord Marsh and offer him my services.
Fisher, please, allow Dr. Watson to enter.
Good job, Watson. Let's see how hard to crack this safe is.
Doctor, it appears that you were impatient to pay me another visit.
Indeed. Will you allow me to examine you? A second opinion, so that the great Lord Marsh does not become the late Lord Marsh.
Well, since you put it that way, very well.
Shall I retire to your office, Lord Marsh?
No, please, Doctor. I insist that you stay. I shall need your assistance.
Will you break anything else?
I'll try my best.
Mr. Holmes? What are you doing here?
Will you break anything else?
I'll try my best.
Mr. Holmes? What are you doing here?
Will you break anything else?
I'll try my best.
Mr. Holmes? What are you doing here?
Will you break anything else?
I'll try my best.
November 7th. This means that the meeting is planned for today. I have to finish my search of the office. Lord Marsh is a keen hunter.
I'd suggest that your current weakness is perhaps more than a simple case of influenza, Lord Marsh.
Where might your companion be, Dr. Watson?
Oh, he's busy poking his nose into other people's business, I'm sure.
My lord, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I must remind you about your meeting.
Is it already time? My apologies, Dr. Watson, but we are expected elsewhere. Might we offer you a lift?
You're going out? I'm not sure that's wise in your condition.
I value your opinion, but misery never rests, and I am needed.
Well, do please take good care of yourself, Lord Marsh. I'll send you my diagnosis, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. Farewell.
Watson, what are you doing at my table?
I just need to check one thing about Lord Marsh. My intuition tells me that Lord Marsh is hiding something about his disease. His cough, in addition to his fever and his usage of strong painkillers, leads me to believe that he is seriously ill. Let's study it more closely. Sputum with tiny drops of blood. I could take a sample and examine it under the microscope. Let us apply chemicals to color the sample. I need a pipette. This chemical should be applied second. Now, let's examine the colored sample under the microscope. Mycobacterium. It appears that Lord Marsh is seriously ill. Holmes, this is no longer a laughing matter. It is just as I feared. Lord Marsh is suffering from tuberculosis.
You don't say.
Yes, I do say. And Holmes, He will die if he is not transferred to a sanatorium as soon as possible.
And yet both Lord Marsh and Dr. Fisher are doing their best to hide this fact. How interesting.
But why?
Why indeed, Watson?
Oh, but... Oh, dear God. You don't think that Lord Marsh contracted tuberculosis while aiding the poor? How terrible. I have a commitment that I can't possibly cancel. Holmes, during my absence, please be extremely careful. This disease is highly contagious. And remember that we have women at home.
Thank you, Miss Alice. Until later.
I'll see you soon, Caitlin.
Where have you been?
Our neighbour lent me a book. She is so kind. I think she likes you.
I doubt that.
How is your investigation going?
It's going. Dracula?
Yes. It's forbidden reading at my boarding school. Did you know?
Well, well.
That's not the one I need. 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 A map of London and its surroundings. Could be useful. That's not the one. That's not the one I need. That's not. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. That's not the one I... That's not the one I need. That's not the one. That's not the one. That's not the one I need. That's not the one I need. That's not the one I need. That's not. That's not the one I need. That's not. That's not the one. Here it is. Cranston's Oak is in Epping Forest. That's the place indicated on George Hurst's map. My archive. Let's try to find the place from the hand-drawn map. Let's try to find the place from the hand-drawn map. Let's try to find the place from the hand-drawn map. Let's try to find the place from the hand-drawn map. Here it is. Drat. I'll need to hurry if I want to find out what's going on at the forest.
Father, that boy Wiggins, does he come here very often?
He helps occasionally in some of my cases. Why do you ask?
Back at school, there are only girls to talk to, and they are so boring. It would be so romantic.
Romantic? Whatever that might be.
Sometimes I wonder what world you live in, Father.
Oh, Kate.
I'll leave you alone now.
Let's see how long you can stay alive! You won't get far! Let's see how long you can stay alive! Here you are! I saw something move. Run, little rabbit, run! I love it! I saw something. Is that your blood? blood in the snow? Let's see how long you can stay alive! Your blood in the snow! Where is he?
He was poor. He was poor. This man was killed recently. The body is still warm.
Find him, boys! Find him! You scampering little rat! Here you are! I'm following your tracks! You won't get far!
My God, it's Lord Harrington's body. He was killed by a shot to the forehead. My health is deteriorating. I need to dress my wound. I can hide here. I can... This will help to dress my wound. The Quartermain Club. This must be Lord Marsh's cabin. Someone's coming, I better hide.
Breathe, Lord Marsh. It's almost over.
Who are you?
George Hurst from the 1st Lovett Scouts, here to deliver justice.
An old soldier. How ironic. Did we refuse you on our special education program?
It's true, I was refused. An old wounded soldier is useless to you, but he can still be dangerous.
We hunted a lot in these woods, but I didn't expect to become the prey. I have lived a grand life without any limits set by others. I will die a happy man, so you won't see me begging, you festering wretch.
Prepare to meet your maker.
should decide what to do before leaving the cupboard. I should decide what to do before... George, lower your rifle, please, for Tom's sake.
Holmes! My. An almost worthy opponent.
Tom? My Tom? If you've endangered my lad in any way, you will pay dearly.
I assure you that Tom is safe in London with a well-trusted friend. And now it's time to end this.
By all means.
George Hurst, your bloodlust ends today. You should have been apprehended weeks ago, before you killed Strobridge out of jealousy. Drop your gun. You may have wounded me, but I won't miss you.
If I ever had you in my aim, I wouldn't have merely wounded you.
Oh, the best detective in England.
Detective, take a look here.
This is how you became sick, Lord Marsh. The beheading of your victims who were suffering from tuberculosis was what infected you. Poetic justice. I was wrong.
The best detective in England.
Enough! You'll die here, Lord Marsh, and you'll die slowly.
Mr. Hurst, you have already served brutal justice to Lord Harrington and I hope Lord Collins and Dr. Fisher. Taking that into consideration, you may as well kill Lord Marsh and end the Quartermain Club completely. No loose ends. Yes! Well done, Watson!
Holmes, you're playing bowls? Indoors?
Not just any old bowls, Watson. Lawn bowling.
Seriously? With your injury? Oh, no. Mrs. Hudson is going to murder you.
Well, that's it for now. Time to go. Would you care to join me?
You're incorrigible. And where are we going, Holmes?
I'm participating in the final stage of the annual tournament held by the London Archaeological Institute's Bowling Club. It's an official invitation. I'll just need to dress suitably and then we can leave.
Mr. Holmes, you played very well yesterday. I'm obliged to you, Sir Charles. I play many outdoor sports. That's the key to my success. My friend Dr. Watson has decided to join me.
Really? Mr. Holmes, would you like to see the first prize? A rare stone Mayan Quiche calendar.
Mayan Quiche?
Indeed. Their legendary king, Tekun Uman, has his statue just behind you. Although this one is a cast metal copy.
That? Oh.
Well, since only members may enter the clubhouse, we have exhibited the calendar outside. Please, explore.
Good luck, Holmes.
The statue of Tekun Uman. This statue is made of metal.
It's a great final. Did you see the first prize?
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Are you ready to begin the final game?
Yes. Let's start the final.
Congratulations on your game, Mr. Holmes. Exceptional. The awards ceremony will be tomorrow morning. See you then to receive your prize of the calendar. I trust you will be there as well, Dr. Watson?
Unfortunately, I'll be unable to attend tomorrow. Duty calls.
Ah, what a pity.
Let's go home.
Oh, Daddy!
Hello, Mr. Bouvier.
Hello, Mr. Holmes.
Well, Caitlin?
Your costume!
Oh, don't you like it?
Oh, I do!
Caitlin, come on. Show some respect for your father.
You know, Father, Miss Alice was telling me all about her travels. She has already toured the world with her own father.
Your daughter is exquisite.
And just to think that she was aboard the Orient Express when it was attacked. What a dream.
Indeed.
She's so creative and imaginative. And that reminds me, would you allow Caitlin to visit me so that she can practice playing the piano?
Poor choice of instruments. I hate the piano. I'd rather her not.
Oh, Father, why did you say that?
Caitlin, we are neighbours. We'll meet again. Until then, I shall leave you with this book.
Thank you, Miss Alice.
That's not... That's not the one I need. Here it is.
The statue did it. It killed Zacharias.
Calm yourself now, Sir Charles. You've had a shock. Let the police do their duty.
What can a mere inspector like you do about it? You don't know anything.
A mere inspector? Phew. And now here comes Mr. Holmes.
Lestrade, are you here to receive a prize as well?
Very amusing, Holmes. You can go home. The ceremony's been cancelled. We've got a murder scene here.
Really? And to think I only came here for my prize.
I know, Holmes. I saw your name on the list of finalists. So go away.
You're not going to congratulate me?
What? Do you really think I'm that naive? You turning up out of the blue and then bam, a murder? There's a surprise.
Oh, you're making a spectacle of yourself, Lestrade. Let's just pretend that I'm a simple consultant, your humble assistant.
Oh, all right then. A club member, Mr. Zacharias Greystoke, was killed at around 4 in the morning. There. Now, don't mess around.
I promise that I won't, Inspector. What do you make of the facts?
It's quite clear. The murderer intended to steal the Mayan calendar. He was caught by Zacharias Greystoke. He then took up the first weapon that came to hand, the statue's spear, and killed Greystoke. Then he fled, just as Sir Charles was coming out of the club. Unfortunately, we've been unable to find any trail beyond the club's wall. It's as if the murderer vanished into thin air. Well, take a look for yourself. You're still here?
This spear came from the statue on the pedestal. The case is scratched and dented. Tissot watch, Swiss, 1855. This watch is valuable and old. It's been through a great deal. Money was left inside the wallet. Dry leaves. They make a noise. Zacharias probably walked across them. Dry leaves. They make a noise.
Zacharias probably walked across them. Zacharias's folder. These drawings represent the Mayan symbols. All valuables were left on the victim. The strike was powerful and well aimed. If I believed Lestrade, this Mayan calendar was the reason behind the murder.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Sir Charles, are you able to tell me in detail what happened?
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Well, to prepare for the awards ceremony, I decided to spend the night here at the club. I was sitting alone at my desk when I suddenly heard a loud, metallic sound and a terrible shout. I hurried outside and well, I found the body of Zacharias. And I swear it, I saw the statue of Tekun Uman running away.
You saw the statue running?
It was dark, but yes, I'm sure of it. It was running, and it was making the most horrible metal sound as it did so. And can't you see? The pedestal is now empty.
Sir Charles, where did the Mayan calendar come from?
It was donated anonymously. We received it shortly before the tournament, with a letter asking that it be awarded to the winner.
Did you know the victim?
Yes, of course. It was Zacharias Greystoke. He was a club member and an excellent bowler.
But why was he here so early in the morning?
Oh, I don't know.
Is the calendar valuable?
Not really. It has historical value, of course. But to be truthful with you, Mr. Holmes, it isn't worth very much.
May I go in the clubhouse?
It's members only. I cannot authorize anyone unless that person has a written warrant from the police.
Pieces from the pedestal. Traces of metal on stone. A piece of the statue's mounting rod. The iron mounting rod is broken. The surface is damaged. The surface... Traces of metal on stone. It looks like the statue broke away from its pedestal. And what about the statue?
No idea yet. I imagine a thief must have taken it somehow.
Right, so there were thieves, and they were very well equipped?
Yes, must have been. Then there's also Sir Charles's version, but...
Please, go on.
He said this morning that he was alone at his desk when he heard a shout. He went outside and saw Greystoke lying on the ground, and... Believe it or not, he said that there was no one else on the green that night but the statue itself running away.
You mean that the statue might have killed the victim? Interesting.
Absurd, more like. Besides, it was dark and foggy.
So, somewhat like your version, then.
Did you search the clubhouse?
What for? The murder took place outside.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
What did the police say? Do you know anything?
A murder at my club. What a disaster for our reputation.
Only club members have access.
At your service, Mr. Holmes. At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Scratches on the stone. No, it wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that. It looks as if Zacharias was killed the moment he approached the calendar, and killed by the spear from Tikkun Uman's statue that jumped... A broken branch. Somebody jumped into the tree and then over the wall.
Well, Holmes, your conclusions as my consultant?
My conclusions are approximate to Sir Charles's testimony.
Oh dear, you think the statue did it?
Everything points to the fact that the spear was thrown from the pedestal, and Mr. Greystoke appeared not to notice the killer.
Indeed. The journalists will be ecstatic about your version.
I would like to examine the victim and take a look at his belongings.
Oh, you've amused me at least, Mr. Holmes. Very well. I'll grant you authorization for the examination at Scotland Yard, but nothing more.
Thank you for coming so quickly, Watson.
Bobby,
Lestrade already has
they
the
will
victim's
find
body in
it.
the autopsy room.
I'm always ready to help anytime, Holmes.